Hello, everyone. This is your host, Susan Rosen, and my guest today is Amy Lawrence. I hope I couldn't bungle that one too badly, huh?
No, you did.
Not like some people's names. And Amy has a really interesting backstory, if you want to call it that. And she's going to tell us about that and how that led into what she's doing now, which is partly she's got a book that's being published today, and we'll talk about all of that. So welcome, Amy. Really
Thank
nice to
you.
have you.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. I'm super excited. It's just
Oh, good,
great.
good. Good energy is always great, right?
Oh, definitely, for sure.
Yes, yes.
That for sure.
So tell us, tell us a little bit about yourself as well, and just kind of how all of this came about, how you got to be a published author.
Yes, it's been quite a journey, I guess, as I'm sure it is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, but before my career now, I actually was a special ed teacher for many years, mostly with autistic children, but also with learning disabled is kind of what they called it back then. So I did that for a while, and then I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. I have two boys, and who are grown now, 22 and 26. So a lot
Oh
of
my
old.
God. Yeah.
But anyway, when I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and then I decided on a fluke, I love to cook, and I decided to open a restaurant. And so I opened a tea room in California years ago, back in 2003. And we were open 7 years. I loved it. It was absolutely wonderful. But it was a lot of work. I mean, a lot of work.
Where was it out of kind of?
It was in a little tiny town called Newcastle, not too far from Roseville, Sacramento.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Up by
Okay.
80.
Because
Yes.
I'm in San Rafael.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So I had people from the Bay Area, I had people from
Oh, I'm
Tahoe, I had
sure.
all
Yeah.
sorts of people. And it was a wonderful thing, but it was a lot of work.
I
And
bet. Yeah.
then my husband was transferred to Seattle. He went to work for Amazon. And so I closed the tea room, and I decided to just sell tea for a while. So I did that online, and then I opened a retail tea shop, and I had a commercial kitchen in the back, and I was blending tea and doing all sorts of
Oh,
fun things.
wow. Uh-huh.
And life was going great. I had a few employees, and it was just great. And it was a lot easier than the restaurant because no dishes and no cooking and all that kind of stuff. But in 2014, I had a friend visiting from Sacramento, actually, and I had a Pilates reformer, and I was showing her some moves on my Pilates reformer. And the next day, I had a really bad headache, and she left to go back home. And I told my husband, we got to go to the emergency room. There's something wrong. So we went. They didn't know. They sent me back home. I went 3 times, as it turned out. And the third time, or the second time, they said it was a tension headache. And so I did this move where you pull your head over, because that's what they told me to do, to release the pressure. Well, I popped my artery, actually. But this was in the evening, and I felt the room spin, and I knew it wasn't great, but I'd been to the emergency room already a few times, and they told me it was nothing. It was just tension headache. So I went to bed, and my son, who had been traveling, texted me in the middle of the night to tell me that he made his flight. And I woke up when I heard the text, and then I decided to take some pain medicine, and I realized I couldn't swallow. And that's when I knew that this is really, really bad. And so I woke up my husband, and he could tell at the time that something was very wrong. He said my speech was slurred. I was pulling to the side. I couldn't walk very well. I thought I was speaking normally, but apparently I wasn't.
Yeah.
And so I went to the hospital, and they knew right away it was a stroke from tearing my vertebral artery. And so that was a big wake up call. I was 45. And so that was really scary. And I was out for definitely a few months. Luckily I had the best assistant, and she took over the business. She knew how to flavor the tea. She did absolutely everything. And it was a good time, probably 6 months before I really felt normal. But I decided she wanted to have a baby, and I didn't want to give her up, and I didn't want to train anybody else. And so I decided, okay, I think it's time to sell the business. So I sold it. And then I was home, and I was happy to be alive. So I ate, and I ate, and I ate, and I gained, and I'm a foodie. I love food. And I gained about 40 pounds. And
Yeah.
It was a lot. And finally, I saw I'd gone to India on a tea tour to visit the tea areas and everything. And I saw pictures of me when I got back, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to do something. This is terrible. And so I joined Weight Watchers, and I lost 40 pounds, and it was great. And I was so excited about everything, but I hated the recipes. They were so bland and they were so boring. And so I just like, and I'd written the cookbooks before with the tea room, but they were all full of fat and sugar and, all the
yeah.
And I thought, well, I could do this. And so I thought, I'm going to be a food blogger, a healthy food blogger. So that's how Gourmet and Skinny was born. And so that's how my blog was born. And then I got tired, though, I have to say, of the whole counting the points thing and saving your points for the weekend. And I don't know, I just was tired. I felt like I was always on a diet and I hated that. And so I kept searching around, and I found another program from Cookie Rosenbloom called Weight Loss Made Real. And she talks about being a natural eater. You only eat when you're hungry. You stop when you're full. You don't. I found out I was a habitual eater. So I like to eat because it's noon. It doesn't matter if I'm hungry. We just eat because it's 12 o'clock. And so I found out that's the kind of eater I am. I also like to eat to celebrate. So whenever we're have a party or whatever, I want to eat. And if ever other people are eating, then I want to eat too. It doesn't matter if I'm hungry. So I learned a lot of great principles in her program. And she was super sweet, and I just love her to death. And she actually wrote the foreword for my book. But
wow.
Yeah, but she asked me to be on her bonus call for her members for the Freedom Group, doing food prep, how to do food prep. And I'd been doing food prep with the restaurant and everything, but I just didn't, I don't know. I said, sure. So I just put together a bunch of ideas and had the call with everybody. And oh my gosh, they loved it. I mean, her members just absolutely loved it. And that's what got me started. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to write a book. And then I ended up starting a membership as well for food for foodies. So so that's kind of how this all has blossomed. And today's the launch day for the book, The Power of Food.
Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
How exciting.
Yes, it really, I mean, it's just amazing that it was just a year ago that I decided to write the book. And then I've been in her program for a couple of years. So, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just amazing. So,
wow. Yeah. It's always so interesting to hear people's stories to how they ended up to where they are now.
There's usually a reason, really.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And typically well, particularly on my podcast, right, because it's all healthy stuff, it has to do with either them or somebody they're close to, or a loved one, or a child, or something that gets them into.
Yeah, we just can't do it on our own, can we?
No.
we have to have a reason, I guess.
Yeah. No, exactly. Well, I think that's human nature, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
So yeah, no, I think that's great. Yeah, and it would seem to me that excuse me, that food prep is something that most people don't really know how to do.
Well, it is true. And my method is definitely very different from other people's. When if you go on Instagram or you go on Facebook and you look at the food prep groups, you'll see these black boxes. There's 5 black boxes, and they've got rice and chicken and broccoli and rice and chicken and broccoli and all that. And it's just like, I look at that, I'm like, ugh, who wants to eat that 5 days in a row? That is not the kind of food prep I do at all. So no, mine is very different. So the way I do it is I have 3 different methods, or I have like 5. There's 5 steps to my Gourmet and Skinny meal method, but there's 3 actual prep options. So when people think of food prep, they think of the big cook day. Like you spend your whole weekend making, 50 million casseroles or lasagna or whatever, and you're all day in the kitchen, 8 hours, you're exhausted, and then
snacking.
snacking. Right. Yeah. And then you've got a month's worth of meals, and there you go. But you dread the day. You dread the big cook day. I mean, most people do. And so mine is different. So you can do that. That's one of the methods. But the first method is the one that I do the most, and I call it multiply it. And so if I'm making, like, I have a great Kahlua pig recipe. If I'm making Kahlua pig, instead of making like 3 pounds, I'll make 5 or 6 pounds. And then what I do with it is I will portion it, and I will freeze it into vacuum sealed bags. And the beauty about the vacuum sealed bags is it takes out all the air, takes out all the moisture. And seriously, things can last. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to keep it 2 years, but you could keep it for at least a year, and it's not going to get freezer burned. Really.
I was going to say, I have stuff in my freezer that's probably that old.
Yeah. But if it's been sealed well, it saves well. And so that's kind of what I do. But the big key to my method is the portioning. So say you make a big thing of soup. A lot of people will freeze the soup, but they'll freeze it in a big batch. And then you have to thaw out the entire batch. And so what I do is I freeze it. They have these wonderful little things called super cubes. Or you can freeze it in the vacuum bags too, but the super cubes are better. They're like ice cubes, but they're like, there's a half cup, there's a full cup. I like to use the 1 cup. So it's a little tray of 4, and there's 1 cup in each thing. And then, so we have soup for the night for dinner. And then whatever we don't eat, I put in these little super cubes, and then I freeze it. And then when those are done, when they're totally frozen, then I thaw them out for like 10 minutes. I pop them out, and then I put them back in the freezer, or I put them in the freezer sealed bags, the vacuum sealed bags.
Oh, okay.
And then I freeze them because that'll keep them longer. And then also you can use the super cubes for another soup. So if I want to make soup the next week, I don't have to worry about it. They're already clean. They're out of there. So
wow, great.
And the beauty of it is like that happened this summer, actually. Everybody, when my big family comes to visit, everybody has different things. My mom's vegan. My aunt likes, more healthy stuff. My uncle used to raise cattle, so he's a beef guy. He doesn't like chicken and pork and all that. And my dad's pretty easygoing. He pretty much eats anything. And so one day for lunch, I'm like, okay, let's see what everybody wants. So I have grilled chicken that I've already done that are in little packages of 1 cup. So my aunt had salad with the chicken on top, and then a little dressing.
You didn't know she was vegan?
No, that's my aunt. My aunt did that. My mom had these vegan enchiladas that I had made for her specially. That's my second method, which I call batch it. So you make a special batch. It works well for people who have special diets. So you make a batch, or like a batch of grilled chicken. So my mom had the vegan enchiladas. My dad had soup, and he and I had different soup because we have all this different soup in there. And my uncle had I make these little individual meatloafs, and so those were in the freezer. So I just pulled everything out in less than 20 minutes. Everybody had something different, and it was great.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it. You preserve it for later, and it's not really people are like, oh, it's leftovers. It's not leftovers, because you just cooked it and then you freeze it right away. And you can take a couple days. You don't have to cook it and freeze it all in one day for sure. But
well, sometimes, like with soup, excuse me, it always tastes better after it's been sitting for a couple of days anyway.
It does. Yeah. And I don't know if your listeners know this, but the great thing about soup, especially if you make I have a great bone broth recipe and a great Parmesan chicken broth recipe. If you let the soup sit overnight in the refrigerator, the fat will float to the top. Yeah. And then you can scrape all that fat off, and then you have fat-free broth. I mean, it's your own and no preservatives. So I'm a big person about if people want to eat preservatives, fine. It's just I don't. I like it. I like fresh food, so that's how.
No, that's pretty much what we do as well. My husband and I, and we make our own meals most of the time.
That's good.
Just
I mean,
because.
And it saves you money. It's better for you.
Oh, that too.
People don't realize how many calories are in restaurant food, even sit-down restaurant food. I mean, it's
no, exactly. But I mean, like different. Like he makes his own meal, and
I see
my own meal.
Well, but see, this method would be great. And actually, that's the one reason I wanted to be on this podcast, because I started a membership, Food Prep for Foodies, but I am finding that most of my members are over 50, and it's just very interesting. I did not target the soccer moms. That's not who I'm about, because I'm about food, and I want it to taste good. And I use different ingredients sometimes that kids wouldn't like, so I'm definitely a foodie. One bite means everything to me. So So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was really surprised that my members tend to be over 50. So it's just really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
well, it, another thing that probably would explain some of that a little bit as well is COVID,
Yes, that's true.
because people over 50 tended to stay home more,
Yeah, that is very true.
and they're not going to go out to restaurants all the time like younger
Right.
people will.
Right. No, that's very true. But they
And
don't want to cook every day, and that's
that's
why
absolutely,
my
that's
thing is
right.
you cook 3 days a week, and you
Yeah.
save the rest. So
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense, because I just know we don't excuse me, we used to go out to dinner quite often, but that's because we go out like to the symphony and
Right, right. You
that kind
would
of
not,
stuff, and so
yeah.
we'd go beforehand.
Right,
And
right.
other than that, we always eat at home. But we don't even do that. Well, number one, it's summertime, so we're not going to symphony right now anyways. But otherwise, like last season, we would go, sometimes we'd go out for dinner beforehand, but now with the new COVID,
Yeah.
the latest,
Yeah.
and being so contagious, it's just like, no, that's okay, I think we'll stay home and we'll eat at home, and then we'll just drive and go.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. No, exactly. And what you're talking about lets you be, versatile is not the right word, but
No, flexible, that's true. I mean, it really is.
flexible. Thank you. Yes, it
And the
really
thing,
is flexible.
right. And the thing that I love about, because people get the idea that food prep is we write it on the calendar. We're going to have this Monday, this Tuesday, this
Oh.
Wednesday. Well, with my method, I can be type A some things, but not with this. And so I just go to the freezer, like 30
What's
minutes
there,
before I want
right?
to do. Okay, well, let's see what we got. Oh, we got chicken. Okay. I think I'll make a chicken wrap. I've got an avocado, and I'll put some lettuce on a little tortilla and mash up the avocado for guacamole and put the chicken in there, a little bit of crumbled bacon, a little bit of cheese, and there we go. Toast it up.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it. You don't have to have it all planned out, because,
Mhm.
things change and we don't like
Yeah.
that so much. So
Yeah. No, I love that. Half the time I don't even have the ingredients to make it, let alone have it in
right.
the freezer where I could pull it from. But
Right.
that's such a great idea.
And it works very well. And I don't do a lot of sides. My food prep isn't really mainly for sides, because I'm a big believer in fresh veggies. So what I'll do is I might go get the little meatloaf that I made 2 months ago and pull that out, but then I will cook up some beans or, Brussels sprouts in my air fryer or whatever, but
Yeah.
because they don't take very long. Sides don't usually take too long.
No.
Or you can keep them simple,
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree. And I always like, with vegetables, I like to make extra. And then the next day we throw them in our salad.
Right. Or I do a veggie skillet scramble for breakfast.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Or dinner.
or late.
I like scrambled.
For snacks.
Yeah.
I don't put eggs in my scrambles on purpose, because I like to use them for snacks, and I don't like leftover eggs. So they're always egg free. So yeah. But anyway, that's how my method is. So it works pretty well. But I didn't realize it was really a method until I taught that class, and it's like,
How funny.
oh, I didn't think it was that special, but apparently it is. So yeah.
Yeah, it seems very special to me as well.
And another little trick that I like to do, that like my family will come, and they're just like, they're funny because they're just amazed sometimes. But if you ever go to Costco and they have that good like, artesian bread, like they used to have that cheese.
Okay.
I used to love that.
I
But
can't eat
we
that,
would,
but
but any good bread, wouldn't have to matter. But you don't eat it all. And so what I do is like, I'll take out exactly what I think we might eat in the next 2 days. And then I freeze the rest. I vacuum seal the rest carefully. You don't want to suck all the air out, because then it makes it all squished. But do like 2 pieces at a time, and then put that in your freezer. And then when you pull out your thing of soup, you can pull out your little thing of bread, and you've got good bread with good soup. And so people don't think about that either. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, the only reason I said about I'm allergic to wheat, so I have my own bread.
Oh yeah, then no, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, wheat and dairy. So
yeah. Oh yeah. No cheese.
At least cow's milk. Yeah. Well, I do goat. I do goat cheese.
Oh, good. Yeah. So
I'm totally addicted to goat cheese.
That's great.
But no, that's such a great idea. So okay, so tell everybody the name of the book again, and then we'll tell them again a couple
Oh,
more
sure.
times so
Yeah,
they
it's
can
called,
remember.
The Power of Food Prep. And
Okay.
I call it, but the Gourmet and Skinny meal method, because my blog is Gourmet and Skinny. So
Perfect.
yeah. So
Perfect. Wonderful. Yeah. No, that's great. And how often do you post to your blog?
Well, okay. Truth be told, I was doing once a week. I did a new recipe
It's
every
hard,
week.
isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
but with the book and then starting the membership, yeah, it's not so often right now. I'll get back on the schedule, but I've been really trying to I want to make my members feel like it's worth it. And so I've been putting a lot of energy into the membership and then obviously the book.
Good.
So,
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you could get off topic here, not exactly, but you could take little pieces out of your book or what you give to the membership and post that as part of your blog. And then
yes,
it's already done.
and actually I've kind of gone the other way a little bit, but I will start doing more this way because I've really developed the method and the membership now. So yeah, I will be giving you guys little tidbits and things for that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that just entices more people to
exactly. And I have another
join.
thing I'm working on. I'm actually working on another book. It's going to be a little while
good.
before I get it done. But I have this thing called Meals That Multiply, and that's on the membership hub. And so like the blue of pork that I was talking about before that you make in the Instapot. So you make a lot and then you portion it into little bags. And then I have 4 other recipes that you can make with it. So like I have, so you can do my Thai pork pizza. You use the pork for that. You can use it for little tacos. You can use it for, I have this wonderful, I call it pig out dip. It's with caramelized onions and then the pork. And so that's really good. And you can put it on jicama if you don't want to put it on bread, so it'd still be good.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that's part of that's my next one that I'm working on is, taking one meal and putting it, having a few other meals that you can make. So I have a Korean beef recipe that I've done that with too. There's different things that you can do with that. So
okay.
But yeah, and it makes it more versatile.
Yeah. So is that what the new book's going to be about?
Yeah, the new book. Yeah, it's
great.
Yeah. I haven't. I'm still in the
next
recipe.
book.
That's the next book. Yeah, it's in the recipe development phase. So.
Oh, all right.
For sure.
How exciting!
Thank you.
That sounds good. So the book that's just coming out today. I assume it's on Kindle as well as
it's on Kindle.
Actual
it's
a book.
It just launched today, and then next week it will be in paperback as well.
Okay.
But right now, I don't know when you're posting this, but
probably not for a few weeks at least.
Yeah. Okay. So by the time this comes out, then
away.
It should be at paperback for sure by then. So,
okay.
And if you get the book, in the front of the book are some bonuses, and I'll give you a little secret. One of the bonuses is a little discount on the membership, and the membership is really closed. I'm only opening at certain times a year, but for people that buy the book, they can get in anytime. So
got it.
Yes.
Okay.
And also for your listeners too, at the end, I will give you a link, and your listeners will get a free download of the book as well. So if they want
great.
Kindle. So yeah.
Good. I'll do that too.
Yes, do that.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. Yes. And I will put it, you send it to me, I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I will do that.
So definitely. That makes it easier for people to get it
rather
than having to listen to something 5 times to get the whole.
Right. Oh yeah. It's so much easier. Yeah. Much easier to do it that way. So yeah, that would be wonderful. So definitely.
Okay. Good. I don't know why I'm moving this thing around. Go away. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Well, so you had given me a couple of questions and some of them look kind of interesting. So I thought I would ask you about them. Good. So, one of your questions was, why do we rebel against food prep?
I think we think it's going to be that big cook day, where we're going to have to cook a lot and we're going to have to do a lot of planning, and people don't like giving up their weekends. So I think that's one of the reasons that we rebel. And we think it's going to be hard. I think there's that too. And really food prep is a mindset. And if you don't even have to do the big cook day, if you just make a commitment to cooking a little extra every time, like say even steak or hamburgers, just make a couple extra and then freeze those individually. And then next time I have this, I developed it for my kids actually when I was going to be gone. I call it the grab and go drawer. So it's in
Okay.
the freezer in the house, and you pull that out, and it says grab and go. And there's like little bits of steak, and there's little bits of hamburger, whatever, and then they can make it up. But there's different ways to reheat too. So that's in the book too, about, because you don't want to just microwave the pizza. It doesn't taste good like that. There's tricks to
No,
reheating it
no.
and making it better. Like, for example, pizza, you microwave the slice for maybe 25 seconds. Then you put it on a cookie sheet or baking pan and pop it in a toaster oven or your oven for the broiler for like 3 minutes. And that crisp it all back up, and it isn't chewy and gross.
Wow.
So
Oh, how neat.
there's a
Yeah.
lot, but I think that's another thing too. People think of meal prep as leftovers sometimes, and they think, oh, it's not going to taste as
Yes.
good, you know. So I
Yeah.
think there's a
Yeah.
lot said for that too.
Yeah.
but
No,
yeah.
I would agree. I would agree. And I know even just for myself or us, when I actually make dinner,
Uh-huh.
you know, I mean, a real dinner, I 9 times out of 10, I make enough for 2
Uh-huh.
meals.
Yeah, because you don't want to do all that, because you think about it. If you double it, do you want to do dishes twice? Do you want to go shopping twice? Do you want to make it twice? I mean, if you just double it in the first
Yeah.
place, it
Yeah.
saves
Yeah.
a lot of time and energy, you know.
Oh, yeah. Not to mention the fact that, you know, depending on what you're having as your main
Right.
ingredient, you know, if you're a meat eater, you know,
Right.
and you're going to have sausages or something,
Right.
the package is going to have 5 or 6 of them in it anyways.
Right. And you're not going to eat all
Right.
that anyway. Yeah.
No, not at one time.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
You might as
yeah.
well. Yeah. Make extra.
Oh no, exactly. And I, you know, and I'm going to cut up the whole head of broccoli, because leaving half the
Right.
head just doesn't work real well.
No.
And you know, so yeah, so that ends up being good. And for us, usually the first dinner, we'll sit down together and watch something
Uh-huh.
on whatever video.
Right. Uh-huh.
And then the second dinner, sometimes I fix it and we both take our plates and we go to our studies and
Right. Right.
eat dinner.
Right. That's true. I mean, that's very true. So yeah. And this one, you wouldn't even have to eat the same thing, you know.
Yes.
You could have meatloaf, or you could have chicken. I mean, you know, it's just
yeah. No,
that's
exactly.
my mom. Actually, my mom is my biggest fan of this. She's
I
hated
bet.
to cook all her life, and that's why I got to cook a lot when I was younger, because she'd do dishes and I would cook. And she is loving cooking. I'll call her up and she's like, "Oh, I'm making this today," and I'm like, "Great, Mom." She's like, "My freezer is so full. I just love your method." And I'm like, she's like a walking endorsement for it. It's just so cute.
That's so cute.
But
That's so cute.
she's 76, I think, and she's just so happy to not have to cook every day and go to the freezer and pull out what she wants. And it's just neat to see her excited. So I just
yeah, no, I think that's wonderful. Yeah, see, I totally rebelled. My mother was a stay-at-home mother and was frustrated the whole time. And she cooked all the time. 4 kids.
Wow.
You know, and then grandkids running around. And she cooked all the time, baked. Oh my God. I mean, I can't even tell you how much she cooked. It was just,
it sounds wonderful.
Like,
That's what my kids probably say about me.
Yeah, I was such a fat little kid. Actually, I was fat until I was in my early 20s, I guess.
Wow, you never know. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and it was talking about Weight Watchers, that's what reminded me, kind of, because I actually was in Weight Watchers when I was in high school.
Oh wow.
And that's
a big stigma for a high schooler. Oh my gosh, you know.
And that was when they first started.
Oh,
I mean, like literally first started. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm that old. And there was just way too much food for me. I couldn't eat that much. You know. Yeah. And so it did not work.
Yeah.
Did not work
No,
for
I
me
can
at
see
all.
why. And the thing is, when you're on something like that, it's like a diet, and nobody can sustain that forever. You know, you just, I love what I'm doing now. It's not a diet. I mean, I eat what I want, but I have rules. I mean, as far as I only eat when I'm hungry, and I only eat till I'm almost full. And, you know, that if I follow those 2 rules and I eat 80% of what I eat is pretty healthy, and then 20% maybe not so much, then I do fine. And I haven't been on a diet for 2 years. It's great. I love it. So
Yeah. 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 It's a lifestyle.
it is.
It's a
And but it
lifestyle.
takes
I
a
think
while to
that's
get there. You got to figure out why you're eating what you're eating and all that, you know.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And whether you actually like the food you're eating.
Right. And if you don't like it, don't eat it.
Thank you.
There's no, I know, it's just like, yeah, that was the thing with Weight Watchers, is like, for me, it's like, okay, I've got 5 points, I should eat it. Well, no, you're not hungry, you shouldn't eat it, you know, but you just get, I don't know, you just get in that mindset. I don't know, it's just
Yeah.
interesting.
No,
So
that absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's, yeah, and it's so easy. It really is. Once you get something that works for
Right.
you.
Right. Sometimes it takes a lot to get there, but now it's like, it is so simple, and it's so, I mean, it is freedom. She calls it freedom group, but it is so, I mean, it's for, I really got it finally one day. I'm like, oh my God, it is freedom, because you're not struggling. And I'm a foodie and I cook all the time for the blog. And it's just like, I was already working with food. And then with Weight Watchers, I was always thinking about, oh, should I taste this? Because it's so many points. And, you know, now it doesn't matter. You know, I taste it if I'm hungry. If I'm not hungry, I don't taste it. You know, you don't need 50 million tastes either, which I was doing that.
No, one in the middle and one at the end probably is about all you need,
But, you
right?
know,
Yeah.
you get in these habits, you know, and that's the thing, you get in the habits. So.
Oh yeah. Well, and especially if you're doing something that's sweet and rich.
Right. Right. Oh, I got to taste the dough. You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. Oh no, I need to taste it before it goes in the oven. And oh, I need to taste it when it comes out of the oven.
Right.
Yeah. Been there, done that. Yeah.
Oh, I should give your readers or your listeners a little tip though about dough,
Uh-huh.
because about the cookies, because this is another thing that I do, and I didn't even think that was a big deal, but it is a big deal for weight loss, especially. So when I make my chocolate chip cookies, which are laden full of calories and fat and all that good stuff, I make mini cookies first of all, so they're not huge, and I make a double batch, but then I flash freeze them. And for people that don't know how to do that, you take a cookie sheet, put like parchment paper down, put your balls of cookie dough on there, and they can be touching, it's fine. You flash freeze them till in the freezer till it's totally solid. And then I package those up into 6 in a little package and put those in the freezer. And then whenever we decide, oh, it'd be nice to have a little dessert, you just go to your freezer, you pull out one of your little packets of 6. You can only eat 6 because you're not going to eat the whole batch. And you let them thaw for about 15 minutes, and I bake them in my toaster oven for about 8 minutes. And then there's only 6, so we can't eat too many, you know, so it works really, really well. And the thing is, I noticed I have my son's girlfriend is visiting, and I made brownies, and I didn't do that with the brownies, and they're sitting on the counter. So every time everybody walks by, they grab a brownie. And see, if you don't do that, like with the cookies, you're not eating, you don't think about it even, you know, so it's just a good little tip to do.
Oh, that's a
And
great.
you still
No,
get
that's a
great
great idea.
dessert, but you're not eating it all the time. So
Yes, exactly. You're not only eating it
right,
and nothing else.
right. But you're still getting good. You're not eating fat-free junk, you know, that doesn't taste good anyway.
Yeah,
And
yeah. No, we
so,
don't. Yeah, we don't do any of that, and
no,
we only do organic. So there you
yeah,
go.
that's good too. That's very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, but I know that's not always easy to do in
Yeah,
different places, and
definitely depends on where you live, and it's
that's right.
expensive, and if they have it. And all that.
Yeah, it can be more expensive if you're in some place where you're not in the middle
Right.
of a farming,
Right. Exactly.
you know.
Makes it hard.
So yeah, I mean, where I am,
Yeah, you probably can
it's
get it
not
all
that
the
much
time,
more.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
not that much more than
Oh, that's good.
the regular produce, and there's the farmer's market that, you know, half of it's
And
organic, and
that's what's
half is,
wonderful. I
so.
love the farmers markets too.
Yeah,
And I'll freeze berries, you know, like right now. I'm
yes,
freezing
I
berries.
would, yes,
Yeah. And
exactly.
then I make
I
cobbler
do
in
that.
January with fresh berries, you know, but they've
Oh
stayed
yeah,
fresh because they
yeah.
were in the vacuum seal bag, so they don't.
Oh, okay. Well, to tell you the truth, and wouldn't make a difference for cobbler, I just put, like, I'll buy berries at the supermarket,
Mhm.
and they come, you know, or Costco,
Uh-huh.
and they come in the big plastic things,
Right. Right.
and I just stick it
You just
stick
do
it right like that, right in there, because it's got lets some air in,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's got holes in it and stuff,
That's true.
And it's fine. I mean, frozen berries are frozen berries. When you take them out, no matter what you do, they're still not firm and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
whatever.
And
They
they're
get
better
mushy.
in stuff. Yeah, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So, why, for me, it's like,
Yeah.
because I used to do that. I used to, we used to wash them and then we'd sit them all out to dry, separate so they weren't touching each other and all this kind of stuff, and then stick them in the freezer like that. And it was like, one day it was kind of like, nah, I'm not doing that anymore.
Well, it's great to have them around, that's for sure. So
I love it.
Especially in January when, there's nothing. So, or it's so expensive at the store, to buy them from wherever they get them from. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I totally agree. I totally agree. And that's for all the berries,
Yeah. Oh,
raspberries
definitely.
and
Yeah.
strawberries and
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you,
But
man.
that again is one of those things that you have to be careful because they are full of sugar.
Yeah.
It's good
True.
stuff. I mean,
True.
it's all very, and it's not bad
No.
sugar, if you want to call it that.
Right.
But it's still,
Yeah. And you got to eat in moderation. So yeah,
that's
definitely.
right.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Because they can be really addictive. Oh, I'll just have
Oh,
another
yeah.
couple more. Oh, I'll just have another couple. So pretty soon they're gone.
Very true.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see what else we had on our list here that we have not talked about yet. Okay, well, we talked about setting yourself up for success, and that's what all the freezing and all of that. So we talked about that. And you also mentioned lightening up recipes.
Yeah,
What do
and
you
that
mean
kind of
by
goes with
lightening up?
our little talk that we were talking about earlier. So
Okay.
I not all recipes can be lightened up. Let's just say they just can't. And that's how I feel. And I would rather have a little bit of heaven than a whole lot of yuck. So, because I don't use fat-free anything. I might use light cream cheese and I'll use light sour cream, but that's about it. I don't do any fat-free stuff.
No, we don't either. Yeah.
Just not me. But that being said, so on my website, you won't see a whole lot of desserts. There is a section called Not So Skinny, and that's where my chocolate sea salt caramel bars and some of my other things are in there. But what I do in order to like lighten them up or make them, less calories, I cut everything into like the chalk bars. Even I cut them into like little tiny pieces. And I make mini cookies. I make little things. I make mini pumpkin pies using the phyllo dough and not the big pie crust. I love pie crust, but if you want to lighten up a little bit, use the mini phyllo, the little tart shells, put some pumpkin filling in there, and then you have a nice little 1 or 2 bite little treat. And so that's how I lighten up those kinds of things. For main dishes, it's very easy, in my opinion, to lighten up a lot of stuff because you can swap out, like if you usually use beef, you can swap out with chicken or turkey or do a combination. You can do that. You can beef up stuff with veggies, like add more veggies and less meat. You can do that. You can always do like cauliflower rice instead of, white rice and brown rice. Most of my things I recommend doing cauliflower rice or the zoodles, the zucchini noodles are good for that.
Oh, yeah.
But one of my favorite tips for lightening up things, it's called, they have it on Amazon, and it's, if you go to my website and my resources, you'll see it, but I call it an olive oil sprayer. And so you it's glass, and you fill it up halfway with your favorite oil. So I usually use good olive oil. And then instead of like when you're going to like saute vegetables, instead of adding oil or butter to the pan, I do use a nonstick skillet, but I'll spray that with the olive oil. And then I'll do my veggies. And then for the people that love the butter taste, some things just really want to have butter, like a chicken or something. I'll still cook it. I'll spray it and I'll do the chicken that way. But then at the end, I'll add just a little teeny bit of butter at the end, just kind of melted over the top. So you still get the butter flavor, but you didn't cook the whole thing in butter. But that olive oil sprayer, it's so great because just a few sprays, like Brussels sprouts, if you cut them and then spray them and then season them well and then put them in the air fryer or the oven. I mean, you're not using all that oil. You're not tossing things in oil. And so the sprayer is a great way to save a ton of calories, and it's easier too, I think. I'm not a big fan of like, you could do some of that. You could do the cooking spray like Pam and all that, but I'm not a big fan of that. I would rather do the real olive oil and spray it on. So
yeah, well, and olive oil is good for you.
it is. Yeah,
You know,
it is.
obviously not if you're going to drink it, you're not going to do
Right.
that, but it's so good
Right.
for you.
Right.
All the
Right.
polyphenols and all that kind of stuff in it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the little container, every once in a while it'll get clogged, but it's fine. You just clean it all out and then it even goes in the dishwasher. So, which is great. I have I have 6 of those little sprayers. I have sesame oil. I have olive oil. I have all different kinds of oil.
Smart. Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
I love that. That's one of my favorite little things for lightening up things. So
yeah.
well.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to take a look and try something new. Usually I'm just, with vegetables, cut them up, put them in a Corningware and stick it in the microwave. Pull it out and
well, it works.
Ready to eat.
I have a brand new recipe that I can't wait to, I'll tell you all how it is. I haven't put it on the blog yet. It'll be out in September, but I also do sponsor work for a spice company and Casa M, and they have this wonderful spice called Chain Reaction, which I love. And my husband told me about this recipe that he read about, and it's fabulous. And you take corn on the cob that's already been shucked and everything, and you put it in the air fryer. Well, I thought, if I take my little olive oil sprayer and I spray that first, and then I put the Casa M seasoning over it, the Chain Reaction, or any like Chipotle seasoning, anything you want to do.
Yeah.
And then you air fry it. I did it for about 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. And it turns out so great. And it's super easy to make. It's just, I love it. So,
wow.
And it didn't take much time. So you'll be seeing that pretty soon on the blog. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't think I've ever bought an air fryer.
Well, they're kind of cool, I have to say. They really
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Now, and I'm a cook, so I like to have all the latest and greatest things. But I resisted an air fryer for a long time because I didn't want another thing on my counter. That was my main thing. However, Breville makes this I love Breville. Oh, I do too. It's called Smart Oven Air, and it's a toaster oven, and it's about this big. But it's also an air fryer. And so I don't mind putting that on the counter because I can use it to bake, I can toast, I can boil, I can even proof, and then I can air fry. And the baskets for the air fryer are really big. And so a lot of the air fryers, the biggest complaint was, you have to do a little bunch of batches because it's so little. Well, with that one, you don't. So that's how I air fry. And it's just basically like, you just choose setting and then do it, and it's great. Wow. I do egg rolls that way too, baked egg rolls.
Okay.
Really well too, and Brussels sprouts are great. Oh my gosh, they're so great. So
that's good. That's good to know. Yeah, we have a Breville. Actually, it's fairly old. I think we're on our second or third one at this point.
Maybe it's time for you to get that one.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say because ours is just the toaster oven.
Yeah,
it's the oven and the
and this is like a glorified toaster oven, basically.
Yeah, but it doesn't. We don't have the air fry.
Oh, it comes with a little air fry basket, and it's just, gosh, it's great.
Wow.
I'm trying to think what else I put in there. Oh, asparagus is good in there. You spray it with that olive oil sprayer and a little bit of salt and pepper, and that's really good. Wow. Yeah, we use it a lot for lots of things. So,
how easy is it to wash?
Oh, easy. The racks you could put in the dishwasher, actually. The air fryer baskets you can put in the dishwasher, and then you just wipe it out. And then it has a little tray that you pull out, and then you can just rinse that off or clean that off. I do that all the time.
Oh, the tray at the bottom. Yeah, I have that in mind too. Yeah.
If I know it's going to be I made this wonderful recipe with air fryer steak bites. So I chopped up little bits of steak and then did it. That one's pretty messy. So that one I put a pan underneath before I air fry it. So.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, it's good.
Good. That sounds really good.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, really. Exactly. So anyways, well, on that note, you are going to you can send me after we go. I'll give you my. Well, you have my email.
Yeah, I do. I'll send you the link for the book, the Power Food Prep book. Yeah, definitely, and they can download it for free. So yeah. No, that'd be great. And so let me thank you for coming on. This has been really enjoyable. Well, thank you.
I learned a lot. Well, thank you.
That's great. I love it.
I love talking to people, if in case you can't figure that out.
I can tell. I do too, actually. And it's better when you can do it face to face. It's just, it's
Isn't
so
it
much
though?
better, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And so I will end this as I do all of my podcasts, which is that neither of us are medical people and none of
No.
this should be taken as any kind of medical advice. But I think you could probably take Amy's advice on cooking. That's
Well, thank you.
she's a professional here. So with that, I will say thank you, everyone, and thank you to Amy, and I will see everybody next week.
Well, thank you, Susan.